Hello and a very warm welcome to you from wherever you are around the world. And welcome to MotoGP Fantasy Preview Live ahead of round 11 of the MotoGP World Championship, the Motorrad Grand Prix von Österreich, the Red Bull Ring in Austria, one of the greats of the calendar. We are now in the 10th season of racing around the Red Bull Ring. Can you believe it? Well, I say the 10th season, it's really the 12th because we were racing there in 96 and 97, but the 10th since it did return a couple of years ago. Now we come into this round with the championship basically resetting because we've just hit the second half of the season with Jorge Martin leading the championship on 241 points, 3 points ahead of your reigning champion Pecco Bagnaia, and of course the double race winner last time out at Silverstone, Enea Bastianini, creeping his way into championship contention, 49 points off of Jorge Martin. Now, we're getting ready to play the MotoGP Fantasy Live, and just remember, if you've never played before, you can sign up and compete for prizes ahead of the weekend, which I will explain to you a little bit at the end of the show, so make sure you stick around for that. Now, today's guest in picking this weekend's team is an 11-time Moto E race winner, the most of anybody, may I just add. He's also finished third and, of course, runner-up in the standings over the last few years. He's also the 2017 Moto2 European champion. And, of course, I'd like to welcome to the show Eric Granado. Eric,
hello.
Thank you so much
Hey,
for joining
Liam.
us. Hey, Eric, how are you
Yes,
doing?
good to be here. I've been here last year doing the MotoGP Fantasy preview with you guys, and it was really here in Austria. So yeah, good to be here again. I hope I can give some luck for my riders on the list.
Yeah, you did say it was a while ago that you've been on it. The last time that got to celebrate you really was 1 year ago in Austria, where you finished second in race one, but you also did the double here, setting pole position, the fastest lap in race one, and doing the double in Austria 2 years ago. What is it about the Red Bull Ring that suits your style that you do love about the circuit?
Yes, it's a track that I really like. In the last four races I did here, I have been on the podium. No, last five races I have been here, I have been on the podium four times. I won two times, had the pole position. So yeah, it's a track that I really like. Also this country is very nice. All the circuit here, the structure is so good. So it's a place that I really like. So yes, I really want to enjoy the weekend and do my best on the track and try to continue this podium way here on this track that is awesome.
Yeah, we do love watching you around this circuit. We've seen so many great styles over the years, yourself spinning the rear tyre, even having some big moments. And I must admit, it's always great for the social media team to be clipping it and posting it online.
Here I had a very nice dance at Rosalia dance 2 years ago. It was a really good celebration. So yeah, I hope I can have at least one win and I can do any dance or celebration in a nice way here.
Yeah, it has been a slightly difficult season so far this year, but you have had a couple of podiums. Do you feel like you could get back to winning ways this weekend?
Yes, it's been a very difficult season for me. To be honest, I was really ready in the beginning of the season. I did the pole position in Portimao, and to be honest, I had some bad luck this season. From my side, I had two crashes leading the race. So I crashed in Portimao and Barcelona. And all the other times was with the contact with another rider. So unfortunately, I have lost many points because of these contacts and crashes. And the last one was so heavy, in Germany. On the first corner, Oscar Gutierrez was out of the line and come back to the track without looking back. And he hit me so hard. I had a big crash. I've lost the second race also because I was in the hospital. It was a really dangerous moment. I was in the middle of the field there in the first lap, 18 bikes with 20 kilos. But luckily, I was not with any big injury. And after 1 week, I could go back to my normal routine and be ready for this race in Austria. So yes, I felt really good all the season. Every weekend, I was fighting in the top five. But for one reason or other, I couldn't finish there. in the podium every weekend. So I hope I can be on this line this weekend and finish both races if it's possible. Both in the podium it would be amazing, and try to finish the season in the best way.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It has been, well, this is the first time we have been able to talk to you since what happened in Germany. Can you just explain to us how you get yourself back into the mentality of racing again after such an incident like that? We were just speaking off air that you've been racing back in Brazil, in Sao Paulo, where you're originally from, but how do you get yourself back into that mindset?
Yes, was a very big moment there, especially because I was not expecting to crash on this corner. I was in a perfect position on the track. I was in fourth position, I believe, and Oscar was out of the line, and he came back, and I hit really hard the head on the floor. And last season I had a very big injury on the head. I had a big edema on my head, and I was out of the tracks a long time. I was not racing in Le Mans, so again I remember all these problems I had last season, and I was very worried. No, I was in the hospital in Germany, really thinking about my future, because when you hit the head, it's something that can change your life or change something. But luckily, I had very good people around me. Dr. Angel Charte was always with me. He's the doctor that was with me last season, and now he was there again. And yes, it was good to have the race in Brazil, because I could feel that I was 100%, and I won the race there. I was feeling very good. I was so fast all the weekend there with the superbike. That is a bike that is very demanding. So for sure, I felt that I was ready to come here in the best way. So yes, now I'm ready. I'm 100%, like nothing happened. So let's go for it.
Yeah, and of course, you've just set yourself up perfectly for a good weekend. And of course, we have to mention the great work that the MotoGP medical team do at every single round. Now,
For sure.
Eric, before we let you go racing this weekend, we have brought you in for the very important role of playing MotoGP Fantasy. I'm going to bring up the team that we currently have. So this is how it looks after the last round when we had Sergio Garcia. Now we've got Mark Marquez and Marco Bezzecchi in our goal team, Pedro Acosta and Alicia Spargo in our silver. Now for maybe Marco Bezzecchi and Alicia Spargo, Silverstone did, but didn't quite work out the way they wanted it to. And Pedro Acosta showed good signs, and Mark Marquez as well. Showed speed in the race, but crashed out of the sprint. Now we have a remaining salary of 1.7 million. But our team value is, of course, 15 million. Now, Eric, we have two changes we could make, but would you like to make any changes to the team ahead of this weekend?
Well, for sure, Enea is a very good option, but for sure he's expensive. So I need to think about if
Well,
I can do any change on the silver to put Enea on the gold.
well,
Uh,
Mark is the same price as Anea. So if you would
mhm.
like to switch those two about, you could. But if you want to keep Mark in the team, then maybe we have to think a little bit more strategically. Also, we could change the constructor and the team if you prefer to maybe switch a rider and one of those as well.
Okay. Can I see the other riders there? The
Yes, of course.
options.
So we've got, well, the top three in the championship are quite pricey, but we've got Alex Marquez, who's been shown quite well at 2.9. Fabio Di Giannantonio, who's been really impressive so far this season.
Hmm.
Of course, signed a new 2-year deal with Ducati to race for VR46 for the next 2 seasons. Fabio Quartararo, Yamaha, still finding improvements. He's at 1.9. Pedro Costa, we have in the team. Marco Bezzecchi as well. Franco Morbidelli, a rider that's showing flashes of speed. So he could be another one we could put in. Brad Binder, KTM this weekend. We'll be looking for a big result. And of course, the Honda riders. Maverick Vinales has been struggling a little bit the last few rounds. He's at 2.5. Jack Miller, maybe on the precipice of signing a new deal for somebody else, but still racing for KTM, 1.2. And further down, we've got Miguel Oliveira, who was really fast in Germany. Ralph Fernandez, who's showing flashes of speed. Anyone there, Eric, that you're
I believe I can change Bezzecchi to Di Giannantonio, because
perfect?
he's doing so well, and I believe the price difference is we can do it.
2 million for Marco and 2.8 for Fabio. So there we are. So it's left us with 900,000 remaining salary. So I think Didier is a
And the
very good choice.
silver, yes, I believe he's in a good moment now. And on the silver, um, yeah, we just have 900K.
900,000, yes, yes, we do. However, if we were to replace, so thankfully Pedro Costa and Alicia Spargo are roughly the same price, 2.3 and 2.4, respectively. I don't know how good your maths are, but Eric, but mine are usually quite bad. So we don't know. We'll try and see if we can maybe fit somebody in. Maybe Alex Marquez, potentially Franco Morbidelli, maybe even Brad Binder. We could
Uh,
go for Brad.
I think I would change Pedro for Alex Marquez.
Pedro for
I believe
Alex
we can do
Marquez.
it.
3.2 million
He's also
remaining. Alex Marquez.
our, yes.
There we are. Yes. So, are you 100% happy with that team, Eric? Mar-
Yes, I'm happy. I would like to put yeah, I believe Mark is so fast here, so I don't know if I would change, And Enea is also doing well, but I believe Mark will be a good choice. Fabio will be a good one. Aleix, I don't remember really well how was last season here with the Aprilia.
So
But
The
Antoinette,
Aprilia,
but I just can't do two changes, no?
just
So
yeah, just two changes. However, Aleix and Aprilia do tend to struggle quite a bit around the Red Bull Ring. However, the RSGP 24 is a completely different motorcycle this year. They have shown speed in places they don't usually, so maybe this weekend could be a good weekend for Aprilia racing.
so
Um,
this is my team. I believe is a good option.
very very good
I
team.
can't do just two changes. I would like to change constructor, but we can make it. So
Yes.
at
If
least I
you
use all the salary more or less. So
exactly, yes, we had 1.7 before we started. We've now got 300k, so you've definitely increased the team value indeed. So for confirmation, Eric, we have our gold riders: Mark Marquez, Fabio Di Antonio; silver riders: Alex Marquez, Alicia Spargo; constructor Aprilia; and team Monster Yamaha. Before we go on, just want to double check one more. Absolutely 100% okay with that?
yes, it's
Yes.
okay.
Perfect. So we will recap this a little bit later on, but I would just like to ask you a few more things before we go. So now we'll bring you back to the main screen. So I just want to talk about this season a little bit more. It's, as we were talking about earlier on, it's been a bit of a tough season. You've been fast, but there's been some things that have played against you a little bit. You've won 10 races with the Energica pre Ducati, one race with Ducati. How difficult has it been to adapt from the Energica to the Ducati? And do you feel like maybe one of them plays more to your style than the other?
Yes, to be honest, for sure, we made more seasons with the Energica. I really knew that bike so well, but for sure, the change to Ducati was a very good one. The bike is working really well. We are much faster, but there is one point on the Ducati that I believe make it be more competitive. That is electronics. So yes, we have traction control, anti-wheelie, all the controls that we have on a MotoGP bike, and for sure, this makes everyone be on the same level. So it's more difficult to make the difference because electronics is there always helping you. It's not really the rider that make it works, the sliding and everything. As you said before, I was always sideways with the rear tire on the side, but now I can't do it because the electronics don't let me ride like I was riding in the Energica. So when I had to change a little bit, to be honest, last season was a season that I was not so fast. This year I'm very fast, but like you said, I had many moments that because of contacts with other riders in the race is normal, no. But unfortunately, many times was with myself, and I couldn't finish the race. But if you see all the races, I was always in the top five and always fast. We did 3 or 4 front rows, I believe. So always in a good speed. So I believe we just need to make everything be on the same line, and I'm sure we'll be competitive and fighting for the top every race.
Do you feel like maybe the competition is a little bit more, well, that the level is higher now? since the switch to Ducati, and we've got a lot of good riders in Moto E now.
No, the level is so high. If you see, we are always so close. And also, I believe the bike lets the rider arrive in a higher point, compared to the other one. So I believe it's like if you see today in MotoGP, always everyone's so close, many good riders, the bikes are so similar. So something that we have in the Moto E2, that is something very nice. And the races are difficult because the bikes are so similar, so it's difficult to overtake. Always everyone on the same line. The slipstream is not too much that you feel. So for sure, this makes the race more difficult and the qualifying so important, like MotoGP. So for sure, the level is high and there is many riders so fast.
And for this weekend, we have spoken a little bit about the track. Do you feel like this is a track that you can get the absolute best out of and be challenging for not just the win, but also maybe pole position as well, because you have had so much success here in the past?
Yes, it's a track that I really like. I was always fast here, so I believe I have this possibility for sure. I need to do it and make it happen. But my predictions are good. I'm feeling very good. The bike is in the good point. I already had a meeting with my team. We prepare everything for the weekend. So yes, I believe we can have a good qualifying and for sure very good two races that we will fight there in the top.
And just a couple of little things before we let you go. You were speaking about racing in Brazil. Now it must be really nice to have a small break in the season to go back and race. However, how much would you like to see MotoGP, and of course it'd be great to have Moto E go as well, back to Brazil? Do you see a circuit there that would be suitable to host MotoGP?
Yes, would be amazing. Have been my dream since I start racing in the MotoGP Championship. I was Moto 3, Moto 2, and now Moto E. We always spoke with Dorna and FIM and the people in Brazil to try to make it happen and try to find a solution. It's very difficult. It's so expensive. Our country is not a motorcycle country. We are always on the soccer, and all the sponsors are looking for the soccer players and teams. But I believe we are in a good way. I think in the future we can have it. I don't know when, but for sure the people in Brazil are trying, and we never know. If you can have also Moto E, would be very, very good. But even if I'm not there racing, it would be nice to see the MotoGP Championship there and all the people in Brazil support. We have many people that really love motorbikes, so for sure it will be full of people supporting and it will be a very nice event.
I know exactly how you feel. I also come from a country where it's just football related, not much motorcycle. Admittedly, Scotland isn't very good at football either. Before we let you finish up, I would like to get your predictions for the weekend for MotoGP and the sprint and the race. Who do you think would be winning the race on Sunday and the sprint on Saturday?
Well, on the sprint, I would put Jorge Martin. Second, Bagnaia. And third, Bastianini. And for the race, I would put Bagnaia. It's difficult because I really believe Mark will be there in the top. I would put Bagnaia first because he's so fast here also. I would put second Marc Marquez and third Jorge Martin.
Very good predictions there, and you'll be hard to bet against that one, Eric. I just want to say a massive thank you for joining us ahead of round 11 for MotoGP Fantasy. All the best for your racing this weekend, and of course Misano in a few weeks' time. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you back to winning ways.
Yes, I really hope to. Thank you so much for the invitation. Hope I can have a good prediction for my MotoGP Fantasy and for the podiums. We will see on Sunday what happened.
Well, we'll have to wait and see. Thank you once again, Eric.
Thank you.
Well, there we go. Eric Granado picked the team for MotoGP Fantasy this weekend. Marc Marquez, Fabio Di Giannantonio, Alex Marquez and Alessia Spargo. Constructor Aprilia, and of course Yamaha Monster Energy. Yamaha for the team. We'll have to see how that plays out. Now, just remember, as I said at the start of the show, if you've been playing with us so far this season, all the way through, we have some fantastic prizes for you. Finishing in first place, we have a replica signed by our champion, Pecco Bagnaia. For second place, we do have the MotoGP 24 video game and, of course, a PlayStation 5, which, of course, I've got both, and I must admit, it's great fun. So make sure you join so you can have a chance of winning that. And, of course, third place, you can win one of our Tissot T-Race MotoGP limited edition watches. I've seen a few people walk around the paddock with them, and I must admit they look extremely cool. Now, if you've not joined up yet, you can still do it ahead of this weekend. Just remember to sign up and choose your team before MotoGP qualifying on Saturday morning. If you join us for this weekend and you win our weekly prizes, you can win 2 MotoGP tickets for any GP of your choice. So there's some great prizes ahead of any race weekend and, of course, throughout this season. Once again, massive thank you to Eric Granado for joining us for MotoGP Fantasy ahead of round 11 at the Red Bull Ring. And all I can say to you is thank you for joining us again, and we'll see you ahead of round 12 at Aragon.